Something amazing happened with my chickens and I had to share the story with you. A few days ago, my rooster started acting strange. His crow sounded hoarse and weak, like he was struggling to push the sound out. It almost felt like he had water stuck in his throat. I figured it might be from the asphalt work he had just done around the property. The fumes must have irritated his breathing. The next day I noticed his breathing sounded worse, congested and wheezy. So I gave him a dose of my homemade remedy that I always keep in the aviary. I've used this tincture many times before on my quails, pheasants and chickens, and even for my dogs. I gently caught him and gave him one small dose by mouth, and within just a few hours he was almost fully back to normal. But then his pair, started making this soft moaning sound with every breath. I gave her the tincture too, but this time I tried something different. I have a big aloe vera plant that I keep in a pot inside the aviary. Funny enough, the chickens had never touched it, not once. They just ignored it. So I took one leaf, peeled off the skin, and scooped out the slimy flesh. I mashed it into a bowl and added a bit of the tincture. I gave her a small dose and she went to sleep that night still moaning with each breath. I decided to put fresh chunks of aloe vera into the water feeder and moved her, the rooster and another older hen, the black one you see, into my nursery area, a separated space I usually use for young or sick birds. The next morning I was shocked. All three of them, the rooster and both hens, were completely back to normal. No breathing issues, no moaning, no weaknesses. Just walking around, eating and acting totally fine. I still can't get over how fast they healed. I really believe the aloe vera made a huge difference this time. What's interesting is that only my older birds got sick. I raise young chicks too, and they all share the same space, same air, but the younger ones showed zero symptoms. Just like people, all chickens are most sensitive and their immune system needs more help. That's why I always keep this remedy on hand. So what's in it? I make it with raw apple cider vinegar as the base. Then I add in things like raw garlic, fresh ginger, and a handful of herbs I either grow or dry myself, like oregano, thyme, rosemary, sage, bay leaf, plantain, and stinging nettle. I also add a spoonful of raw honey to the mix. It's soothing and helps good bacteria thrive. But propolis resin is really the heart of this remedy. I collect it myself from beehives and it's packed with natural antibiotic properties and supports the immune system in a powerful way. And now I've started adding in fresh aloe vera gel, which was such a game changer this time. Sometimes I also throw in a little bit of echinacea, ashwagandha, and turmeric root too. I don't use exact measurements, I just eyeball it. About 1 part herbs and 2 or 3 parts vinegar is good enough. You can use fresh or dried herbs. I mix everything into a glass jar, put a piece of plastic like a Ziploc on top to prevent any reaction with the lid, seal it up, label the date and let it infuse for at least 3-4 weeks. Then I strain it and store it in a small dropper jar. I always keep a little of the mixture in a glass jar right inside the aviary so it's easy to grab when I'm changing the water. I usually add a few spoonfuls of the tincture to the 10-gallon water feeder each time I refill it. And if I have fresh aloe vera, I like to add a few thin slices of the gel right into the water. If any bird seems off, I will also give a small dose directly by mouth. It's gentle, natural, and has helped my flock time and time again. After I saw how well the aloe vera worked, I tried offering the fresh gel to my young chicks. I had scooped out a few big slimy chunks and held them out in my hand. They gobbled it up right away. I was honestly surprised. They knew exactly what to do with it. It just showed me how smart animals can be when you give them natural, healing foods. I also like to feed dried flowers and herbs to my birds. I grow and dry calendula, chamomile, and cornflower and sprinkle them over yogurt or watermelon slices. My birds love it, and I ferment their seeds once or twice a week. Sometimes I soak them overnight, sometimes for 2 or 3 days. All my birds, from finches to quails to chickens, love the soft fermented seeds. It's great for digestion and help with nutrient absorption. My birds really do live a good life. They get fresh garden veggies, fruits, mealworms, space to dig up my raised beds, and more attention than they probably want. And they pay me back with the best eggs ever. Between the chickens and quails, I'll admit I love the quails a little more sometimes. They are so fun to watch. Their poop is tiny and they're great in the garden. I always say they are the perfect little companions. If you enjoy birds like I do, make sure to check out Marz's Garden Aviary. I started that channel just for my finches. They are a whole different kind of joy. The link is in the description below. Now let me introduce myself real quick if you're new here. I'm Marzi and this is Marzi's Garden. I'm a gardener, beekeeper, and someone who deeply loves and cares for animals, especially birds. Over the years, through gardening and working closely with my honeybees, I've come to really appreciate the healing power of both plants and bee products. When I say bee products, I mean things like raw honey, royal jelly, bee pollen, bee bread, and especially propolis. As I mentioned earlier when talking about what goes into my home remedy, propolis plays a big role in its effectiveness. Propolis is the heart of this remedy. I collect it myself from my hives. Bees make it by mixing tree resins with their enzymes, and it's one of the most powerful natural substances they produce. It's been used for centuries for its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory effects, and I truly believe in its strength. I make all my tinctures at home, blending the propolis with herbs I grow myself. These remedies are gentle, natural, and something I've used many times for my chickens, quails, pheasants, and even for my dogs when they need a little help. I could talk about propolis all day, but honestly I encourage you to look into it yourself. It's a truly incredible thing nature gives us. Just a quick note though, I'm not a vet or medical professional. Everything I'm sharing is based on my personal experience and what's worked for me and my flock. If you choose to try any of these remedies, please do your own research first. This is just what's worked for me and my flock, and if you try it, it's at your own discretion. And if you are curious about the full list of ingredients and how I make the tincture, you will find it written out in the description below. I don't follow exact measurements, just eyeball it. About 1 part herbs and 2 or 3 parts vinegar is a good start. Trust your instinct and use what you have on hand. Just so you know, the main ingredients for this apple cider vinegar tincture are oregano, garlic, and propolis. Everything else is optional. Even if you don't have access to propolis, you can still use raw honey, especially if it's with comb. It's still be helpful. Don't overthink the amounts, just a little bit of everything goes a long way. Check the links in the description for more about propolis and where you can find it. If you like this video or learned something new, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it with someone who loves birds and natural living. Let's keep learning and growing together. Thanks for watching.